Just for the cards.
Did we decide? Ron, can you hear us?
You did a minute ago.
Yes.
Joan, can you hear us?
You can unmute though.
Okay. Well, we'll start by calling this meeting to order with the Pledge of Allegiance. Oh gosh, this is a problem.
Allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America and to the republic.
nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First order of business is to approve the consent agenda. Recommended action is to approve the items below, which are included in the consent agenda. 5A, the minutes, 8B, donation acceptance, 8C, donation acceptance, and 8E, special education. Do I have a motion? Colleen, stage right.
I second it.
The other Colleen. Okay, so everyone will please vote.
And a big thank you to the Lucy family for supporting the kids to take another DC trip.
I don't know how to vote remotely, but I vote aye.
Thank you, Ron. So it's 7 yes.
So that moves us into for the good of the cause. If anyone is, do we have anything to read?
Yeah.
Okay, and the public may address the board at this time. Anybody say anything? Anyone who's online? Nope, okay. Moving on to a presentation of the Capstone project. Take it away.
Okay, so I'm Casey Kyler. For those of you who don't know me, I teach health and phys ed at middle high school, and I'm going into my 3rd year. And last year, I had the privilege of teaching a senior seminar section, and so that's why I'm here. Which is, this has nothing to do with health or phys ed, but it does with the senior sem section that I taught. So I'm here to talk to you about new, fresh ideas that we had for what was formerly called the senior project, now called the Capstone project. That was changed last year. And the reason for that change was senior project felt limited to senior students only. And the senior sem teachers in previous years felt like this could be a project that could be started before senior year. So the name was changed to Capstone project. And so at the end of the school year in June, the senior STEM teachers met with Tammy and talked about what we thought went well during the year, what we thought didn't, some of the trends that they had seen over the years. And I'm just going to be honest, this was my first go around with senior STEM and the senior project. About the project, but like if I don't know a lot of info, it's just because I'm kind of new, but I know a lot about this piece. So when the teachers met and Tammy, they had talked a lot about was the senior STEM class an effective use of the seniors' time? Was the class preparing them for college or career ready, which is something that we're always looking to do. And if you don't know much about that class, it was really a class where students spent time planning for college or jobs after high school or military. They filled out college applications in the class, college essay, spent time writing scholarships, but like a big chunk of it was working on their capstone project. So we had decided that perhaps one thing we can do to make the students more college and career ready was to eliminate this coming year the senior seminar course for students and really make the project an independent project for seniors if they waited until senior year, but anyone if they wanted to start it sooner. really like junior and senior year. And so taking away that senior STEM course meant that we had to really outline and structure the project, probably more so than in years past. And so I was given the task to be the Capstone project coordinator for this coming year, and then create a manual so that students knew what to expect. And so that's what this is. I'm not going to go through every line because I know you have a long meeting, but I do want to just highlight what is the project and what are some of the changes. And so the project is for students. They have 3 strands that they can choose from. And if you turn to the back of page 1, those are where the strands are outlined. And so students are asked to spend time their senior year or before, 30 hours or more working on one of these strands. The service strand, so that could be a community service project of some sort. We had one student this year try to end the plastic bottle ban, which I'm sure you've heard about that project. So that's one of the options. A career exploration strand is another one. We had students this past year job shadow in a kindergarten classroom, the after school program, law firm, the ambulance. So that's where students are interested in a career and they spend time just learning more about it to see if it's something they really want to do. And then the self-development strand that's really like, how can I improve myself? What's something I really wanted to work on or learn or do that I just never made time for? So students in the past have written novels or short stories, not novels, short stories, learned how to play guitar, learned how to bake. We had a really cool project. Someone spent time learning how to bake throughout the year and started a small business after. So those are their options that they have. And then throughout the course of high school or senior year, they spend 30 hours working towards their project. And it ends with a presentation to administrators, teachers, community members, whoever they choose to invite as well, where they share what they did, what they learned, and how it changed their life. So that's what it's always been. Along with that, students were asked to make a visual aid for senior night, which is the last week of school before graduation, so that everyone in the school and parents and family who come to senior night can see what they had worked on. So the purpose of this packet was really to highlight some of the changes, but also because senior STEM has been eliminated, to let students know, okay, this is exactly what I need to do every step of the way, due dates, expectations, what everything is worth points wise, because this is it's a graded project, pass fail. And it's also tied now to their senior privileges. So they also know like, oh, I really have to do this if I want to get my senior privileges. So just to highlight some of the changes, specifically, and one change, if you turn, there's a sample bulletin board with my face on it. It's let's see, 1, 2, 3. The back of page 4. So when they write their proposal that goes to the high school principal, they outline what they want to do for their project, and the high school principal says yes or no, or add some of this stuff to it. New this year, they're going to create just something simple like this: picture, title of their project, brief description, and then I, as the coordinator, will create a bulletin board that highlights what our students are doing so that underclassmen can see other high school students, their peers, and teachers. So it's really a way to promote how awesome this project really is. The students have always had to have a mentor for their project, and that could be someone in the school or out of the school. The mentor selection form, which is Appendix C, is new this year. So we're just looking for more accountability in that component of the project, where I will touch base with the mentors, make sure that they're checking in, that the students are actually spending time with their mentors, things like that. Also new this year is journal entries. And so because we took out senior STEM, which was a chance for teachers to really say, hey, how's your project going? What do you need help with? What have you learned so far? How many hours do you have? Because we don't have that this year, we're implementing 3 journal entries. And there's a sample Appendix G, the sample journal entry. And so that is just a way for students to talk briefly, 1-page requirement about maybe one specific thing, you know, like I made this up about job shadowing at the dance studio. And so in my little sample journal entry, I wrote about my first day and what I was like, wow, I can't believe that much goes into class, right? And so it could be from one moment in time from their project. It could summarize their first 10 hours, if that's what they chose to write. But it's basically checkpoints along the way so that I know that they're, you know, starting their project, working towards their project. And, you know, if they're having any struggles with their project, they can write about that and I can support them. That's the new stuff. There's included in this packet, there's also some expectations like an hours log, which we've always had. There's more specific grading rubrics than in the past, which are all outlined at the very end, grading rubrics A, B, C, and D. And that's so that there's no questions about their grade. You know, they had previously been graded on their presentation and their overall project, but now the journals are graded and the letter is graded. And so it's for students to see like, oh, I earned 10 points on my poster out of 10, great. Or I only actually did one journal entry, so I only got 20 points instead of the possible 60. And so when they're going into their presentation, they know exactly where they're at, and they know exactly how many points they need to pass the project. So those are just the changes. You can read all sorts of stuff about it.
Casey, do you think, I know you said that you're no longer doing the senior seminar, correct?
Correct.
Is this more work involved now for the students? Now this has been kind of revamped. Is it more labor intensive for them now? Do you think that it's going to be more work for them moving forward?
So I believe the only work added on, in my opinion, would be the journal entries.
Okay.
Tammy could correct me if I'm wrong. That's new.
Okay.
Then the bulletin board, to me,
Okay.
that's like,
Yeah.
let's just
that's
do that.
good.
Everything else is the same. There's a research paper tied to it, but that's always been in the English curriculum. The difference is we're saying, hey, like you're about to graduate. And so whether you're going to college or you're going to work, like this is a really, a new way of looking at this, to say like, you have deadlines to meet and you're not going to have somebody walk alongside you the whole way. Rather, you're going to be checking in. And so we're giving them that freedom, but also saying like, a lot more is on you.
So when they get to the end of the project, if there were components in it that they missed, or because they were bogged down with winter and spring sports they didn't get to, do you allow them to make that up, or that's it? Your deadline was March 1st and you didn't do the journal entry, so it's too bad.
So it's written in here that, so let's say someone decides to job shadow a winter sports team, like the coach. There are deadlines in here, but if their project can't even start until winter, those deadlines change.
Okay.
But new this year would be like, if something's late, it's points off.
Okay.
And so unless it's because they couldn't
Okay.
start the project on
Okay.
time.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
No, sounds great.
I'm mighty impressed by the whole thing.
I like the accountability, like the mentor selection form, because I was a mentor many times,
Yeah.
but I don't even think like parents knew
Yeah.
that I was the mentor, you know what I mean? That was interesting to see, like, oh, really?
Yeah.
So,
And I've never, you know, again, I've only been here 2 years, right? Involved with the project piece. I have not heard students really talk about their mentor. And so I think that it's nice to actually make that
that's a
connection
communication
now.
with the family.
Yeah. And the first week of school, I just talked to Connie today. We're gonna set up a time to, you know, she's the senior class advisor. So I'm gonna come in and explain the project and also set up a meeting with each student in that first month or two of school, do our best first month of school. So that they have that time one-on-one with me to, you know, ask questions, get questions answered, talk about project ideas.
And so the idea going forward is that a junior could start their project if they
Yeah.
wanted.
Yeah, and I heard that there were already 2 students who finished their project over the summer.
Wow.
Got to touch base with them. But yeah, so in theory, it could start as soon as they want.
Well, they won't be graded until the senior year.
That is the one piece, I don't know the answer to that
And
yet.
if they started in junior, is that grade specific? Yeah, that's.
I would think the paper would need to comport with.
Sure, probably the
12
paper, yeah.
requirements.
Mhm.
The project itself, I think probably would, sounds like a work in progress. And
That
and a
piece.
very good one.
Yeah.
Great. Any other questions?
Wonderful. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too.
Thanks.
Thanks.
See you all at, Mountain Nest.
Okay, the next, we go into reports. Audit committee report.
Tom telling, or, yeah. Down the right one here. Last Thursday, Daniel, myself, and Karen Meister met with Tom, Samantha, and Kyle from the audit company. They were here for 2 or 3 days last week. 3 days last week, starting the audit. They hope to be able to have everything done and the audit to us by the October deadline. When we talked to them, everything looked good so far. They had a few questions, but you guys were able to answer them for them, and everything was going smoothly. So
It was a very uneventful meeting.
it was.
Thank you, Dana, and all the others involved. Great. Anything else to add?
I know, unless you have anything you want to add.
That was about it. I think they were trying to come up with things to talk to us about since we all met, but it was, yeah, it's very smooth sailing so far. So that's great. Next, superintendent's report.
So this meeting today is more or less the culmination of the crunch time period for the administrative team. So certainly the personnel docket is reflective of that. We might be going for records here, getting all the way to T. So certainly seeking the very best personnel for our students has really been a strong priority over the past couple of weeks since we've last convened. This is also the major planning time. So we had set out at the start of July as a team and just laid out our communication timeline for staff and families to communicate what the first week of school will look like for students, parents, staff, et cetera. And so today marks the end of that time period. So our parent letters go out tomorrow. Our staff letters with the schedule for the opening days go out tomorrow. We have some exciting developments happening on our opening days for staff, really focusing in on our department leaders, giving them time with their departments to discuss ways to engage our students more fully and to be able to observe that and point to it in a way that we can identify it as a successful practice. So I think our opening 2 days for staff is a combination of giving them the time they need to prepare for students, but also really just setting the tone of what our hopes are for this year. And that's to all fall into that sense of unity, unified goal, to engage our students, but to provide the individuality to departments to determine the way they wish to try and achieve that goal. So I think that's something I'm certainly looking forward to. Since we last convened as well, our community schools coordinator has taken the helm and has started running and hasn't looked back. So Keith has done a wonderful job, and he's already planning on having a strong presence at our open house at the elementary on the second day of opening. He is attending different meetings throughout town and has drafted a letter for all of the major organizations that's going around. But he's also allowing us as an administrative team to sort of think differently about what we're doing and shake things up. So just one of those things is our new hire orientation that we do. And in previous years, it's been rather information heavy and not as much about feeling the vibe of the district and kind of understanding what our goals are experientially. So our new hire orientation will be taking place on the 23rd, and we're going to be going to the Historical Society for staff to learn a few things about Lake Placid. We're going to the ski jumps for a photo, doing a full district tour in the bus of Wilmington and Lake Placid, having a nice lunch. Just finding ways to feel more connected and embedded to the community, which I think is a great start to anchor that with our staff, and is representative of the little things that I know Keith is going to continue to do for families when the school year starts. So I'm very excited about that. So we talked about just really addressing the personnel and planning, getting our letters out. And the other main thing is that we're also gearing up for a new level of collaboration across the district that I'm particularly excited about. And that is that with our department leaders in place, we now have a rotating schedule month to month when school starts, where there's a district instructional leadership team, and we'll be reviewing the different growth patterns of the departments and talking about challenges and things. But also there's a building level team for each of the 2 buildings. And so this is just going to allow us to have a lot more communication with our staff on the front lines in the classroom about what they're seeing with their students and how we can measure that, and then how we can try and improve upon what we're doing. So I'm excited for that because I like to think we're a collaborative administrative team, and this is emblematic of that. So not a lot of student stuff, but when we get out of planning mode and out of the hibernation cave here, we'll be inundated with lots of things to report in September.
Is the community schools coordinator a member of the admin team?
He is, I don't know what emeritus is without being retired, but whatever that is what he is. He's, yeah, he has that role. He's not an administrator, but when we have our meetings, Keith is going to have a place at those meetings where he can try and look at what we're doing and how to connect that more to the community. So he's a part of the team for sure.
What other questions do we have? None? Good. All right. Thank you very much, Tim. All right. For information for the board, there's quite a bit of stuff in there. So please take a look at that. We do have a decision to make about the super eval platform for our board self-evaluation. We want to go that way. So there's information there. There's also information about the open meetings laws and rules and all the regulations we've got to follow, which we will be addressing or discussing at the September 6th board meeting. So make sure you read through that. Some fun stuff for you, Ron, from our lawyer, so you can look through that and tell us what it means.
What do we do?
Stand by, Ron.
Yeah, that's right. Did you have a question, Martha?
I do. What do we do with the superintendent's goals?
So that's entirely up to the board. I just wanted to kind of share my thoughts on opportunities that I was seeing at this stage of the game, but maybe if the board wants to read them over, and then at one of our September meetings, we could have a brief executive session and talk about those. They'll be part of my evaluation process, and make sure that things are in there that you feel are important, and things that are unnecessary are taken out.
Great.
Cool.
Okay, moving on. Issues for discussion. You have boards and objective, or goals and objectives. Sorry. So I'll open the floor for discussion.
So I would note that Martha and Colleen have both gone in and made comments.
Is it the same document that we had before previous, or is it a new document?
No, it's the same document.
Oh, are my comments gone?
I don't see any of your comments.
Yes,
Uh-oh.
written on there.
Yeah, they're comments.
Huh?
Just Martha.
Okay. I made comments in some document about goals. Apparently not the correct one, though. I will go look at what I have done, then I have definitely, that's embarrassing. It may have been an old one, though. Like, did we have one from
A year ago.
like a year ago? But did we have do we make a new Google Doc then? Oh, okay, well, that's what I did.
If you go into Word Docs under the discussion.
Right.
Goals and objectives and click on that link, that should get you.
Okay,
Plus, I think you sent an email, I think, too.
Yeah.
So it was in there too. I need to go back and.
well, that's probably why I didn't see y'all's comments.
There weren't any.
I thought there was a whole bunch of comments from Martha, but I guess they were all old ones from
Those
the
was
previous.
last year.
Yeah. All right. Well, then, does anyone else have anything to discuss? Martha and Colleen,
Yeah.
since your comments have been
No,
recorded.
I only put a couple things in there. I didn't spend a lot of time on it. I was planning to go back in, so.
All right. Well, if everyone can,
I was gonna say, what kind of timeline for when do you want this done?
So I would like to have it up for draft at the next meeting so that we can approve it at the meeting after that. So September 2nd. Then like in a draft form and then approve it at the next meeting after that.
so if that works for everybody, we'll plan on having everyone's comment in there.
It's
And then,
it's nice to have a deadline. Good,
all right.
perfect.
Oh, probably my comments don't even make sense anymore because it's a different document. Because of some of the stuff that I commented on, I was like, well, this seems outdated.
Wow, your wife is really my news. Say something when you get home.
Fantastic. She doesn't watch
She
this. It's
sees
fine.
this meeting. She'll have a new book for you to read.
That's right. Yeah, right. Okay, so moving on, 6A, the minutes was in consent. So that brings us to the personnel consent agenda and what a consent agenda it is. So I'm gonna increase the font size on my computer here. The recommended action is to approve the following items which are included in the consent agenda: 7B, teaching staff resignations; 7C, teaching assistant maternity leave requests; 7D, teaching staff appointments; 7E, long-term teaching staff appointments; 7F, long-term teaching staff appointments; 7G, teaching assistant appointments; 7H, teaching assistant appointment; 7I, teaching assistant appointment; 7J, long-term teaching assistant appointment; 7K, food service worker resignation; 7L, food service helper appointment; 7M, food service helper appointment; 7N, 10-month typist appointment; 7O, monitor aide appointment; 7P, civil service appointment change; 7Q, civil service appointment change; 7R, food service director appointment; 7S, bus driver resignation; 7T, teaching assistant appointment. Do I have a motion?
Yes.
Thank you, Martha. Do I have a
I'll
second?
second it. I'll second
Thank
it.
you. Thank you, John.
One comment, well done, Daniel, well done.
Yes.
I don't believe you took a breath.
Well, you know, try. I was doing breathing
It
exercises
was
all day.
flawless, it was flawless.
All right. Well, if everyone will vote, then when that comes up.
I'm just glad we can fill these positions at this time.
Yes.
Yes. Again, I don't know how to vote remote. Aye.
Any discussion? Other than
7, yes.
thank you to all of our dedicated teachers and staffers that are leaving us. Thank you for those who are stepping up. And congratulations to the maternity leave request. So there we go.
And just a brief word, in the packet here, Amy Strack will be transitioning to BOCES. We congratulate her, but we also like to welcome Danielle Cave, who has come and will be her replacement. And congratulations on your appointment. So thank you for coming to be present for your appointment to the district.
Welcome.
Welcome.
What level here will you be teaching? What grades?
High school.
Oh, wonderful. Good. Congratulations and welcome.
All right. So I think that takes us all the way down to 8A. NISBA Annual Convention approval. Recommended action, whereas the board wishes to send up to 4 members of the Board of Education, including the superintendent, to the NISBA Annual Convention in Syracuse, New York on October 26th through 28th, 2022, at a cost of $515 per person plus travel expenses. Whereas monies have been budgeted for board members to attend conferences, now therefore be it resolved that the board hereby approves up to 4 people to attend the NISBA Annual Convention in Syracuse, New York on October 26th through 28th, 2022 at the cost of $515 per person plus travel expenses. Do I have a motion?
Yes.
Thank you, Dan. Second, Colleen, thank you.
Is any part of this, and I can't remember, virtual?
It is, you can attend it virtually, yes. So if everyone will vote.
And I would ask that if anybody wants to go, that housing is always an issue and we should hop on that ASAP as it's already open up for registration.
Yeah. So please allow, please let Karen know if you wish to attend.
Ron, vote.
Aye.
Thank you, Ron.
7 yes.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Should do discussion before the vote.
I think that's true. I'm jumping the gun here.
Motions and then
Motions and discussion. All right, I'll figure it out eventually.
Move, second, discussion, vote.
You guys are supposed to catch me on those things. Okay, well, we'll move on. 8B and 8C were in a consent agenda. 8D, recommended action is to set the tax levy for the Lake Placid Central School District and to approve the signing of the tax warrants for the towns of Lake Placid and Wilmington, New York, in order for the district to begin collection of taxes on September 1st, 2022 through November 3rd, 2022, based on the information provided to the Board of Education and placed on file with the district clerk. The resolution is attached hereto and made part hereof. Do I have a motion? Thank you, Colleen. Second? Yeah. Other Colleen? Any discussion?
I have a question. So it looks like the tax rate has gone down to 6.141. And it was significantly higher last year. Is that true, Dana?
Correct, about 10% decrease.
Well, that's fabulous. I think the public should know that the school district has a rate going down considerably this year. That's a good thing.
Absolutely, that's what happens when the value of our homes in the community go up.
Oh, I understand that perfectly. I'm just saying the public, I know why it happened. The public needs to know that our rate has gone down. That's what I think.
Who sent out release to that effect?
Pardon, I didn't hear that.
We're asking about the possibility of a press release.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking. That's exactly what I'm thinking. The public pays close attention to these things. I think it's great that the rate has gone down. It rarely happens.
Well, I think specifically the levy went down, which is the overall tax burden. So, you know, even if the price values had gone down, the amount of money that the school was requesting from the community went down.
Both are good things. Yeah.
Both are good things.
Well,
Yeah.
the
So,
tax rate might, but it doesn't mean that individuals' assessments didn't go up.
correct, but the amount of money overall that we are
Right.
requesting, I mean, that's our responsibility. There, we can't really do a whole lot about that,
School perspective as opposed to.
Yeah.
Right.
Just hear that part.
rather than just the bill.
No.
Just the back.
No one likes to be that way. All right, well then, please vote as ye are able.
Aye.
Thank you, Ron. And thank you, Dana, and the entire district team for all of your work on the budget.
Yeah, it's well done.
And it's even impressive that it looks this good and we're passing the audit. So it's not like you were doing any jiggery pokery, you know.
That is very good.
There you go.
And don't leave until you sign this.
Yes.
Please and thank you.
Do we have a tally on the vote?
7 yes, I'm sorry.
That's all right. Thank you. So 8E is under consent agenda, which brings us to the second for the good of the cause. Does anyone care to make a comment? Do we have any emails?
We do not, I checked.
And our one visitor on,
She's-
she left, so I guess. All righty. So we move on to the adjournment phase. See, that consent agenda didn't need to be so scary, I guess. Doing all right. Yeah, I mean, the work has already been done. Adjournment phase, next meeting dates and location, September 6th to September 20th. That moves us to old agenda topics. Does anyone have any old agenda topics they'd like to put on the agenda?
Colleen?
No, I'll talk about it later.
Okay.
Not really board related.
Any new agenda topics? Okay. Moving on to a proposed executive session. The motion to go into executive session for the purposes of discussing the employment history of certain personnel. Do I have a motion?
Yes.
So moved.
And Ron, second.
Yeah.
You're a little slow there, Ron. Dan beat you.
Exactly, I could.
All right, so we will enter executive session at 6:37 PM. After everyone votes, sorry, please vote.
Aye.
7 yes.
Okay, we will enter in still at 6:37. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
I will, Karen, I will remember to send you the times.
That goes with the signatures.
Signatures. Let's go with that. All right.